I'm here. Early morning, get up.
I love it, man. Thank you so much.
It's such a pleasure to be here.
This is amazing. Look, I've said we're loud. Now William's loud. This is fantastic.
I like it.
Again, welcome to Dubai.
It's such a great city. What a welcoming the city has for you by just being what it is. Coming along the road just from the airport to here, unbelievable.
Does it look futuristic too? Because everyone comes and goes, it looks like it's the future city.
No, it is the future, absolutely. Well, the way you make water, the way you make power, the way you utilize everything, this is incredible. There's much to be learned from Dubai.
Have you ever watched the documentary on how they built Dubai?
No. Is there a documentary?
It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
I've got to see this.
It will, even, the tallest tower in the world,
Yeah.
to see how they pump water up that tower.
How do they pump water up that thing?
Thanks
It's
for
like
asking.
a giraffe's neck, isn't it?
It goes in.
By levels.
Exactly.
So here's how I believe the giraffe does it. There are like little sacs where they pump where the heart pumps the blood and it goes higher and higher and higher. That's what they did.
The Burj Khalifa stole it from the giraffe's
The
neck.
giraffe.
know.
Everything is stolen from the living animals. It's true. Everything they study, that engineers study, cobwebs and ant hills and those kind of natural events inform us on how to engineer human living.
Wow, that's amazing. How did you know that? How do you
We're
know
learning things here.
Well, natural air conditioning is what the termite mounds use.
Wow.
With fluids down below evaporating so that it becomes cooler as the moist air rises. Everything that we do as human beings is based on nature.
William Shatner, ladies and gentlemen.
That's
Thank you. Thank you.
I now have to leave.
All right, that's it. Take it off.
Nature is calling.
How do you? I've spoken to a lot of people since you've arrived, and everyone just says how amazing you are and what great spirits you're in. And how do you continue this through your entire life in the sense of your career? You've done so much. Don't you get to the stage where you're like, you know what? Do you know who I am? I don't have to do this. I don't have to put a smile on. Like,
no, that doesn't help going through customs. I'll tell you. You know who I am? No, and get into this room and strip search.
But how do you keep the
Bend
positivity
over.
up?
You know who I am? Bend over anyway.
That's why we're asking you to. But how do you keep the positivity up? Like, how do you keep this going? I mean, I do a stupid morning show here in Dubai, and
I come on as I'm as stupid enough to agree to be on a stupid motor. A morning show. No, it's all great. Isn't this wonderful? Aren't you happy?
Yes.
Yeah, you should be because you're in Dubai.
Oh, I love this. Like, you could be like new ambassador for Dubai. Hashtag my Dubai. I like this.
Do you look back at your career and do you ever look back and say, this was the highest point and this was? Do you have like certain moments, or do you just look at it all?
No, I'm I feel a sense of inadequacy and that I've got to accomplish something next. Something has to be accomplished. So here we are, for example, in this extraordinary city, and it's like eye-opening and jaw-dropping. It's astonishing. When was the last time you were astonished?
That's true.
Eh?
When you
All of
walked
us.
into the room.
Well, you should. Well, thank you. We should be astonished every day. You wake up, you should be astonished that you're awake and breathing, and then what the water feels like as it splashes. Every moment should be an astonishment. We lose it after the second day of washing your face. Right. After the baby's had his little bath 3 or 4 times, it forgets how wonderful that bath is. And so we go through life being inured to the magic of being alive. And if you can hold on to that, that's the astonishment of every day.
Fantastic. True or false, real quickly. These are the typical questions that you've probably been asked 1,000 times, but you love tennis and paintball?
I do.
Okay. Did you ever sell the kidney stone?
Yes.
It all went to charity, from what I understand?
It went to charity. So, a total of $100,000 from a kidney stone and collection from the cast of Boston Legal we gave to a charity called Habitat for Humanity, which is designed to build buildings, housing for people who can't afford it.
Love it. Who came up with that idea? Did you come up with that idea? Or?
No, Habitat for Humanity I don't know who came up with that idea.
It's like, hey, we've got a kidney stone here. Let's.
Well, I passed a kidney stone.
Yeah.
I was offered $25,000 by a company that online gambling company in the States. By law, you can't advertise, but you can promote. So they thought that would be good promotion. Give me $25,000 for my kidney stone.
Yeah.
I said I want $100,000. They gave me 75. I got 25 from the cast who kicked in,
Wow,
and I gave that money to the charity of my choice, which at that moment happened to be Habitat for Humanity.
That's great.
What a story that is. That's fantastic.
And there's a family
Yeah.
living in a weather-torn area in the United States, in Louisiana near New Orleans, which had had a terrible storm come by, and this family was homeless. They built a home for this family. There's 5-6 people living in a home that kidney stone.
Oh, that is that is an amazing story. I
Wow.
like that. From the kidney stone, which would usually get put in a little glass and taken away.
Right, or it crumbles and
Thrown.
they say, thank God that's gone. Flush it down the drain.
Is it true that our boss Richard Branson wanted you to come up into space?
That's true.
Okay, and how come that didn't happen?
Well, he wanted me to pay.
Okay.
He's so
I
tight, isn't
said,
he?
sir, sir,
Of course. Why?
you got the wrong idea, sir. You pay me.
Yes,
Yes.
that's right.
But would have you gone, or would you go?
Well, the idea. First of all, my wife Elizabeth and I,
Yeah.
were in the Mojave Desert
Okay.
when Branson won through the engineer who built that airplane. Anyway, we were there for that first flight in space.
Okay.
That won the $10 million for the prize, the X Prize, for the first non-commercial flight into space.
Okay.
We were there.
Okay.
We saw this thing take off, this airplane. I'm trying to remember. Rattan was the name of the engineer who did a V-shaped airplane that carried the little spaceship in it to 50,000 feet. Then the spaceship dropped off, lit a combination of crumbled tires and what's the gas you get when you are in the dentist office?
Nitrous oxide.
Nitrous oxide gas and crumbled tires, and that was the propulsion
Wow.
for this little 6-man, but only one person in at the time, spaceship that went to 100,000 feet, which I think is the limit of space, landed on the Mojave landing thing, was somewhat bent, and it landed on little wheels that looked like little wheelbarrow wheels, tiny little crumbly wheels. It landed. So this guy had gone into space for a millionth of the cost of what it cost
Sure.
to send American rockets into space.
Sure.
And that was the beginning of this cheap space travel upon which Sir
Richard Branson.
Richard Branson is basing his spaceship on.
Right.
Okay.
So all this is knit together, sort of like we did this, and then that links to that, and that. So now they're preparing to go into space.
Yeah.
Right.
Except when they next time they lit this thing, they didn't, and they had changed the engineering from just going up and then down. They changed the engineering so they could slow the little vehicle down, and the second pilot punched the wrong button at the wrong time. Did you know that?
No.
And so that's why this other spaceship call it a spaceship, crashed, because it was human error,
Wow.
not engineering error. So it crashed in the Mojave Desert. Now this is like 2-3 years later, maybe 5 years later. They were now at the point of had 6 passengers. They were ready now to get passengers to go into space. That flight killed the guy who punched up the wrong button. The severely injured the next engineer that was in the spaceship that did land, and set themselves back a long time, because people like myself, if I were involved in saying, yeah, I gave you $250,000 to go into space, and now
And that's
just
going on.
prior to us going,
Yep,
the
that
spaceship
happens.
crashes and a guy dies.
Yep.
I'm excuse me, can I have my money back?
Yeah.
Yep, I get you.
So it's put a crimp in Sir's
Just a bit of a handbrake on it.
schedule.